Hello everybody, Toastbomb here today with another Wacky Wednesday, or should I almost say Wacky Thursday. Man, I have been a little bit distracted the past few weeks to get this thing out on Wednesday, and it hasn't really happened the past few weeks. But anyways, regardless, this week we are doing the crap class, the worst class in the world. Now, in the comments, people told me to do this, and they didn't say anything specific, so I picked out what I thought was pretty bad, but also at the same time kind of usable. Because obviously with like armor abilities and like the support ability or whatever, stuff like that, you can just opt in for none. So that would obviously be the worst because you can't use anything. But I decided to try to pick stuff that I would actually sort of end up using, because you know I could put one of the support upgrades or one of those things as something that wouldn't be relevant to what I was trying to do with that playstyle. So I was trying to kind of keep it within the range of something I would actually use, but keep it at the same time really crappy. So what I ended up using was the Suppressor, because the Suppressor has a very short range at which it's effective. When you are close, it's very powerful, but it's hard to get that close, especially in some of these maps where it's kind of, you know, longer distance. You gotta play really strategically in order to do that. Then I went with pulse grenades, which, I mean, I think that's kind of obvious. They're definitely the least effective out of any of them. And then I also went with the plasma pistol, because I was thinking, like, I could do bolt shot or magnum, but really, bolt shot or the magnum is, like, both better than the suppressor, and the plasma pistol kind of complements the suppressor in some ways. You can kind of use it, but I thought that was probably the better thing to do, just because the magnum and the bolt shot are actually pretty good alone, and if I just ended up using that exclusively and ignored the suppressor, that wouldn't really be the point of this whole challenge. Then with the armor ability, I chose the auto sentry. Another pretty obvious choice, the auto sentry. I mean, it can be a little bit effective to distract a guy, maybe get you like one shot up in the battle, but it really doesn't do a lot of damage. It's really weak, takes a really long time to recharge, and it takes a while to deploy. So it's kind of a useless armor ability in most cases when you compare it to some of the other ones that are a lot more effective in almost every single situation. So I decided to go with that. And then for one of the upgrades, I went with double grenades, and while this does kind of make the pulse grenades quite a bit more powerful, having two of them, I still decided to go with that because outside of that one, it was either, okay, this is going to benefit me a lot, or it's not even going to be useful at all. It's not even going to come into play with the playstyle of using the suppressor, stuff like stability. Like, that's not even going to be a thing that happens with this because, you know, I'm not even zooming in with any of my weapons or anything. So I decided to go with the double grenades because it was something that I was gonna use, but it was something that was the least beneficial out of the things that I could use. And then lastly, I went with Nemesis. Now, I hadn't even bought this, I hadn't used it, I hadn't seen anybody use it, so I was actually almost kind of curious. I mean, I knew what it did, but I didn't really know exactly what it looked like when you used it, the little marker. If you don't know, Nemesis allows you to, after you die, have a marker over the person that killed you for like 3-4 seconds, something like that, just a short amount of time, so you know where they are when you spawn and you can go get revenge on them. Now, that actually didn't end up being very useful because I know the maps enough that, yeah, pretty much I know where that guy was and I know where he's heading, so that wasn't really helping me a lot. I don't think it actually came into play in this game, but while I was trying to get a good gameplay of this, it actually did help me like 2 times, I think, probably out of the couple hours I was trying to get a gameplay of this challenge. It actually did help me, but I think obviously going with something else like, you know, the faster reload, more ammo, something like that, would have been a lot more useful. But the Nemesis actually surprisingly did come in handy with a few grenade placements right off spawn so I could know exactly where that guy was. But yeah, overall this class is absolute crap. I had a really hard time doing well, and I ended up just slowing down my gameplay a lot. Like, as you can tell in this gameplay, I'm playing very slow. I'm not really trying to run and gun a whole bunch, especially because it's multi-team. And multi-team, if you try to just absolute Rambo through the playlist, it doesn't always work just because there's so many teams and it's so chaotic with all the grenades and all that stuff going all over the place. It's really hard to actually stay alive even if you are a good player. So I had to end up really slowing down my gameplay. I did try some other playlists like Infinity Slayer, but I didn't have quite as good a luck as I did with multi-team because there's so much chaos, and if you slow down your gameplay so you kind of minimize the chaos on your end, people are just confused and totally like, you know, they don't know what is happening because there's so many things going on at one time that you can kind of catch people off guard and get them that way. So I found that multi-team was pretty much the best playlist, but unfortunately to do well I had to really slow down my gameplay, so I didn't get quite as many kills as I wanted to, but I still went positive by quite a bit, so it ended up being pretty good. If I did have a partner with me, like if iSleepy was playing with me, I probably would have done a lot better, just because, I mean, having a partner that you know their playstyle for anything just helps out a lot. You can stick with them and all that stuff. So playing solo was definitely something that was a lot harder, but I think I did get a pretty good gameplay out of it, and I juked some guys out pretty hard throughout the whole thing as well. But anyways, that'll be it for this Wacky Wednesday. If you liked it, you can leave a like or a comment, or you could subscribe because I post new Halo videos every day. And if you do decide to comment, make sure to put your suggestions down for next week's Wacky Wednesday challenge. And if I like it a lot, or it gets lots of upvotes, or multiple times people post it, something like that, maybe I'll end up picking it for next week. So anyways, that'll be it. See you later. Bye.